చేస్తున్నాను మళ్ళీ అయితే. బాయ్. రేపు హాలిడే కదా మీకు? Hi everyone, can you hear me, team? Yeah, tell me what is the last concept we have discussed? Okay, see here now, what is the last concept? Polymorphism is completed. Huh? Okay, fine. The next concept is encapsulation. I'll start with encapsulation concept. See here, it is used to achieve security for application. It is used to achieve security for our application. That security is achieved by using private modifier. In general, encapsulation means it is a combination of private variables and public methods. Public methods means setters and getters. Setter method is for setting the value. Getter method is for getting the value. Okay. Now take these points. I'll show you an example of how we are going to work. Yeah, let's go to it now. Let me open Eclipse IDE. Let's go with an example. Give me a second. I click on SRC, new package, encapsulation. See here, I'm going to create some private data. New class called employee. See here now how we are going to work. It's a combination of some private variables and public methods, right? I'm going to create some private data. Private int ID, private string name, private float, salary. So this private data cannot be accessed outside the class, right? So we need to use public methods. Okay, see here now. So automatically Eclipse will generate citizen letters. Automatically Eclipse will generate these citizen letters. Right click, source, source, generate citizen letters. Select all, click on OK. Okay, like this they're going to work. Now let me create a class called test for the purpose of main method. New class called test. Multiple things I'm going to explain you here as a part of this example. See here. Employee is equal to new employee. Employee dot set ID of 101. Employee dot set name of Madhu. Employee dot set salary of like this we need to set the data. employee ID, employee dot get ID, employee name, employee dot get name, employee salary, employee salary plus employee dot get salary. Save it. Before executing this code as a part of this example, I want to explain about this keyword as well. Okay. See here how we are going to work. Now here we have this keyword, right? You need to know the importance of this keyword. I'll show you first without using this keyword the problem, then we'll explain you what is the importance of this keyword. Okay, see here now. If you don't use this keyword, what happens, you know? See here, whenever you are creating a variable, if you don't pass the value, if you don't initialize the value, the default values will be initialized. The default value for it is 0. Default value for int is 0. Default value for string is null. Default value for salary is 0.0. Okay. Now see here, if you don't use this keyword, the default values will be initialized and we are going to get the data, that data only. If you use this keyword, it is used to call the current class data. Current class reference means our current class reference is employee. This data, if you want to get, we need to use this keyword. If you don't use this keyword, the default values will be initialized and we are going to get the data only. This dot name is equal to name and this dot salary is equal to salary. Now in test.java, if I run it successfully, it is going to be executed. Like this, we need to work. Is it clear, ma? Everyone? Any questions you have? Take a snap of this code or you can write it down for 2 minutes. I'll go for the next exam, next concept. Is the concept clear, everyone? Do you have any questions? Topic is clear, right? Yeah, sure. I'll explain once again. Just everyone make it down. I'll be giving 2 minutes time. We'll go with the once again. I'll explain you. Then we'll go for the new concept. Sure. Yeah, take test out. Done, right? Okay, see here now. What I'm saying is, if you want to provide some security, we are going to use private modifier. Already we discussed, right? Once if you apply private modifier, we cannot access outside the class. Generally, encapsulation means it's a combination of private variables and public methods. As we cannot access outside the data, we are using public methods. For each and every variable, we need to define setters and getters. Setter method is for setting the value and getter method is for getting the value. That is the reason for every variable, we are creating setters and getters. For every variable, what we are doing, we are creating setters and getters. Setter method is for setting the value and getter method is for getting the value. So here, if you don't use this keyword, you know what happens? The default values will be initialized. If you don't pass any value whenever you're creating a variable, the default values will be initialized. Okay, the default values will be initialized. So if you want to get current class reference data, for that purpose, we are using here this keyword. Okay. If you don't use this keyword, what happens? The default values, whatever we are having, those values will be initialized and we are going to get that same data only. Okay. So if you want to get current class reference data, we need to use this keyword. So if you want, you can write it down. This keyword is used to call the current class reference data. This keyword it is used to call the current class reference data. Okay. Now the next concept is final modifier. Take down final. It is a modifier where we apply for variables, methods, and classes. Okay. Final variables cannot be reassigned. Means we cannot change the value of a final variable. Final methods cannot be overridden. Final classes cannot be inherited. Okay. So if you apply final modifier for a variable, we cannot reassign the value. If you apply final modifier for a method, we cannot override it. If you apply final modifier for a class, we cannot inherit it. Okay. So take these points. I'll show you a small example how we are going to work now. Yeah. Do it fast. I'll be giving a minute time. Yeah. Shall we go with an example now, Tim? Why need to use if you don't use final modifier, we can change the values. But if there is some constant data, for example, you're working in some company, you don't want, for example, organization name is same. I don't want to change the data. There we are going to use final modifier. If we don't use final modifier, right? Means in some situations, I don't want to change the value. In that situations only we are going to use final modifier. Nowhere we are not going to use. Everywhere we are not going to use final modifier. According to the requirement, we are going to use this keyword. Are you getting my point? Yeah, final methods can be overloaded, cannot be overridden. Okay, overridden is different, overloading is different, right? Yeah. Can we go with an example? See here. I'm going to create a separate package here for the purpose of final modifier now. I'm going to create a separate package. Right click on SRC, new package. New class called final demo. See here, let me create a main method. Let me create a main method. Int a is equal to 45 mark. If I print the value of a, 45 is going to be printed. There is no issue. You know, right? Now, for example, I want to change the value of a from 45 to 50. Okay. Now, what could be the output? 45 and 50. But Here, if I make it as final, if I make it as final, now see here, you will be getting a compile time error. Why? Because final variables cannot be reassigned. If you apply final keyword for a variable, we cannot reassign the value or we cannot change the value. Okay, take this one for a minute. We'll go for the final keyword for a method and for a class we'll discuss now. See here. Now let me create a class called sample one. Let me create a class called sample one. Assume that I have a method called show here. Something I want to print. Java application development. Okay. I want to inherit the data from sample one to sample two. Right click on your package, new class called sample two. Sample two extends sample one. Whatever the data we are having in sample one, I want to get into sample two. Okay. I want to override the data. You know the concept of overriding, right, everyone? Same method name with same number of arguments in superclass and subclass. Same method name with same number of arguments in superclass and subclass. Okay. Now see here. Python application development. So here, you know the concept of overriding. But if I apply final modifier, if I apply final modifier means I don't want to change that particular data. Okay, someone should not change my data. Then only we should make it as final. For example, if I make my method as final, no one should override that functionality in subclasses. Okay, that cannot be changed. See here, once if I make it as final in subclass method, you are going to get an issue. Why? Because remove final modifier of sample one dot show cannot override the final method. Final method cannot be overridden. See here, final methods cannot be overridden. Now, for example, if I make my class as final, it cannot be inherited. See here, in subclass, we will be getting an error. Why? Because final classes cannot be inherited. Like this, we are going to work. Take this. We'll go for the next concept. Take sample2.java as well. Uh, okay, this is the concept of final modifier. Clear, right? Can I go for the next concept? I hope you are good with the concept. Can I explain the next concept now? Can we go for the next concept, ma? Fine. The next concept is constructors. It is also one kind of method which can be called automatically when we create an object. It is also one kind of method which can be called automatically when we create an object. Rules to define a constructor. What are the rules to define a constructor? First rule, class name and constructor name should be same. No return type for a constructor. As a part of this concept, we need to discuss about default constructor, parameterized constructor, constructor overloading, constructor chaining mechanism. Okay. Let me know once you're done. We'll go with an example. Let's go with an example now. Right click on SRC, new package. Sorry, constructors, right? See here, I'm creating I'm creating a class called sample. In this sample class, so I want to create a constructor. What are the rules to define a constructor? Class name and constructor name should be same. See here, class name and constructor name is same, and there is no return type for a constructor. So if you don't pass any arguments to a constructor, it is a default constructor. It is a default constructor. If you pass arguments to a constructor, it is a parameterized constructor. If you pass arguments, parameters, if you pass arguments to a constructor, it is a parameterized constructor. Into C is equal to A plus B A plus B value is plus C sample of into A comma into B comma into C into D is equal to A plus B plus C. A plus B plus C value is plus B. Like this, we are going to work. Now, I'm going to create a class called test for the purpose of main method. New class called test. In this test class, I'm going to create a main method. In this test class, I'm going to create a main method. Sample obj is equal to new sample. So what is the definition of a constructor? It is similar to method. It can be called automatically when we create an object. It can be called automatically when we create an object. See here how we are going to work. If I run this code, successfully it is going to be executed. Now, for example, if you want to execute two arguments parameter constructor, sample obj1 is equal to new sample of 12 comma 15. If I run it, successfully it is going to be executed. Similarly, if I want to execute three arguments constructor, sample obj2 is equal to new sample of 14, 15, 17. So whenever I'm passing three values, JVM understands that we have a constructor with three arguments that is going to be executed successfully. Okay, like this we are going to work. Clear? This is the concept of but the problem is for calling every constructor, we are creating a separate object. My intention is I want to create only one object and I want to call all the three constructors at a time. I want to create only one object and I want to execute all the three constructors at a time. Okay, now see here. For that, what I'm going to do, I'm going to call this default constructor into this parameter constructor by using this method. Similarly, I'm going to call this two arguments constructor into this three arguments constructor by using this of A comma B. Now what happens, whenever I'm passing values for three arguments constructor, sample obj is equal to new sample of 14, 16, 18. So whenever I'm passing three values, JVM understands that we are having a three arguments constructor that is going to be executed. Okay, see here. But what is the first line we have? This of A comma B. JVM understands that we have a two arguments constructor that is going to be executed. Whatever the values we are having, those values will be stored here and this is going to be executed. From here, the first line is, it assumes that we have a default constructor that is going to be executed. Okay, now when I run this test.java, all the three constructors are going to be executed successfully. Here, calling one constructor into another constructor by using this method is known as constructor chaining mechanism. Okay, like this we are going to work. Just practice these things. Tomorrow we'll continue with the new concept. Fine. Just take a snap of this code. Take a snap. Fine. Take test.java as well. Fine. I'll be stopping for now, team. Let's connect tomorrow. Thanks, everyone. Have a nice day. Thank you all. Whatever the things you are practicing, right? Just ping me on Telegram once.